Welcome back to the horror with your host with the most to talk about as always. Welcome back. So we're doing a quick review real quick on Too Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. This is a movie that sort of surprised me because I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of this movie, but I'm also surprised at just how many people actually are aware of this movie and love and adore this movie very much, just as myself. But for those of you who have never seen this movie, oh my goodness, you need to watch this movie. It is a terrific little treat of a movie. It stars Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo. And they're all playing drag queens. Yes, drag queens. And let me tell you, because I remember when this movie came out back in 95, and especially with Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze, it was kind of like, what? Those guys? Those, like, action, buff, tough guys are gonna play drag queens? What? Like, my 11-year-old self was kind of like, wait, isn't Patrick Swayze supposed to be, like, dirty dancing and, like, beating people up outside a bar? Like, what? So, I was not even a Valley girl. I don't know why I just made myself turn into an 11-year-old Valley girl. I wasn't a Valley girl. But it was a little like, what? And I think a lot of people were expecting this movie to really be the biggest flop. And I think it might have been kind of a flop back in the day, but it has grown to have a huge cult status, not just among like the gay community, but I'll even say it among the straight community. I couldn't tell you how many straight people that I come across and are like, oh my god, I love To Wong Foo. It's hilarious, it's funny, and it's got some great lines in this movie. And I have to also say too, this movie actually touches on some, like, quite a bit of, like, social commentaries for a little funny movie that are starring, like, a Hispanic comedian and two, like, buff action stars. It does, I mean, it goes from, like, obviously, you know, drag queens to race, I don't want to say racism, but just, like, being able to kind of conquer racism and social classes too, even, because I was going to say, Patrick Swayze's character, actually, his backstory is, like, he actually came from, like, a wealthy family, and, you know, while the other two, Snipes and Leguizamo's characters, didn't really come from much, but yeah, Patrick Swayze's character came from, like, a very wealthy family, and pretty much, because he dressed as a woman and everything and enjoyed dressing as a woman, pretty much was ostracized from his family, as pretty much kind of like the other two pretty much basically were. You know, so it's like you see, you kind of understand, like, the struggles of these people and everything, and then always having to, no matter what they do, there's always, like, different things that they have to worry about, such as, you know, like at one point they get pulled over, and of course Patrick Swayze's driving, and, you know, on his driver's license, it's his, you know, original male self, not his drag queen character or persona. So, you know, he's freaking out about that, to, you know, when their car breaks down and they are stuck in this, like, little nowhere town, middle of America, who are a little like, okay, like, who are these people? Like, they literally look like aliens. They may as well be aliens from Mars or something with this town, because they're so, like, what? So different, like, things, different social commentaries that go on in this movie. That is, and I feel like it's not really necessarily, like, down your throat sort of, like, social commentaries and everything, but it's a little more subtle that if you, like, kind of pick up on, it's kind of like, ooh, okay, like, I can kind of see that, like, Nagzima, or I should say Wesley Snipes' character Nagzima, with this like older lady who doesn't really talk to anyone in town. She plays as though she's like deaf and mute and everything. But Wesley Snipes' character kind of befriends her, and finally kind of befriends this older woman, this like 70-year-old woman and everything, and kind of just seeing how they interact and everything. And I kind of like that too, because I know people might be like, well, who cares if the little old lady is befriending this drag queen? Well, a couple different things if you think about it, because like I said, this older lady is like, you know, like old school, like I said, she's like 70, so you figure if this is like 95, she was born in like the 20s, so she went through a lot of the era of, like the Great Depression and then like segregation and everything. So, to, really have an associate with someone of color, I'm sure she's still a little, depending on too if she's like got a little bit of like dementia or something, that could still play a factor of, okay, so wait, you're black, like, oh no, like we're supposed to be separate. On top of that, Wesley Snipes, like I said, is a drag queen. So there's like two taboos right there from like when she was brought up, her kind of mentality, what she's kind of known of people. It's kind of like, oh, like you're not supposed to really associate, but she kind of looks past all that. She looks past the color. She looks past the fact that he's in a dress and he's a guy, and just really accepts Wesley Snipes' character for who he is, or who she is, I should say. So it's different things like that of like, of acceptance, social acceptance and everything. There's a little bit of oh my god, I totally just had a brain fart. Interracial relationship towards the end, which, like I said, I mean, 95, like, interracial dating really wasn't that taboo. I mean, sometimes it was still a little like, what? Like, what? Like, but it wasn't as taboo as, like, say, years before this, like 20, 30 years before this, or whatever, where it was like, it was a little more accepted at the time, but it was still, for the small town and everything, very small town, kind of like naive small town and everything, pretty big deal. So it kind of just showed like different sort of social commentaries with this movie, with these three women, or I should say men, however you want to do it. But no, it's just, there's a lot of different social commentaries, which I like. Great movie, and like I said, it's hilarious. You do get a lot of good laughs in this, so, but definitely if you guys have not checked this movie out, check it out. It is brilliant. You will not be disappointed. It has a terrific cast. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you have seen it, I know some of you have. Till next time, as always, you guys stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.